Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Mr. Siege. Now, the new update, Eternal City, was announced 12 hours ago and I'm a bit late to the party, but I've had a bit of a busy day. So let's get started. I don't want to talk about all the other bits and bobs like the new Global Civilizations collab project and all that palaver. I want to concentrate on the new KVK story, Shifting Gears. If you want to find out about all the rest of the stuff in this update, head along to Chisgull's channel. He's got a fantastic video out there. I've watched that. And Archer Syndicate, really good video too. But I'm Mr. Siege. I'm going to concentrate on this Shifting Gears story and try and break down a little bit about what this new story is all about. So stick around to the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So we found out about this new KVK story, Shifting Gears, a few days ago. But in the Chinese version from Ihara here, it doesn't show up called Shifting Gears. It's actually called Strong Bow and Crossbow. Now, obviously Omniox saw this before I did, and he also had an inkling it could have something to do with ranged. And it turns out that is the case, which is absolutely amazing, first, I must say. So let's have a look at this and try and break it down. And number one on this part is Commander Revamp. So revamping a commander allows them to lead a skirmisher / artillery troops and learn a new active / expertise skill. So let's break this down, have a look at this in more detail. Obviously, you're going to have to revamp a commander, which will cost something. So you'll have to use something to do that, which we'll touch on soon. A bit like in some other KVK stories. Now, they can lead skirmisher / artillery, so is that and artillery troops, and they can learn a new active or expertise skill. I'm not really sure at this stage, although I should have access to a test KVK platform soon, which will obviously give me a much greater insight into this KVK. At this point, I'm not sure whether they'll learn a new additional active / expertise skill or both, or these will replace the active and expertise skill that the commander already has. That is to be found out. They could be just from Bastion quests and the actual support skills. Again, we'll find out in the near future, I'm sure. So then we have number two, shifters. These new units will redefine the way you approach ranged combat. Great. If a revamped commander is a primary commander of a troop, all the troop's units will be automatically converted into shifters. Shifters have the same base attributes as siege units, but half the load. They do not counter and are not countered by any unit type. So let's break this down again. Now, obviously shifters are a little bit like siege because they have the same base attributes as siege. Obviously, they don't have the load because you're not going to use them for gathering. These are pure fighting units. So you'd revamp any unit type into these shifter units, whether that's cav, infantry, archer, or siege. They will then become obviously shifters, and these are sort of stats that they'd have. Obviously, you've got your normal T5 trebuchet. T4 is obviously different, and they won't be countered by anything, unlike what siege are. So basically, your siege / your engineering commanders are actually going to be a lot stronger in terms of they won't be countered. I say a lot stronger. It's not a huge amount. That shifters, very nice. Now, number three, bonus conversion. If a revamped commander is a primary commander of a troop on the map, again, that's on the map, I'm not saying it's a garrison then, or yeah, it would be a rally, but not garrison. Certain bonuses from equipment, talents, formations, armaments, technologies, the museum, and city themes will be converted into bonuses for shifter units, depending on the commander's original talents. For example, if a revamped commander has the infantry tag, All infantry bonuses from the above sources will be converted into shifter bonuses. In addition, melee damage bonuses will be converted into ranged damage bonuses. So again, let's break this down. The commander you've chosen to obviously revamp, you've converted, has to be the primary commander of the troops on the map. Let's use Margaret as an example here. So obviously she's a siege/engineering commander. These siege stats will then be converted into shifter stats. The cavalry stats here won't be because obviously she's a siege commander. Then only your relative equipment, so if you've got siege equipment, that will change into shifter equipment. Again, talents, so your siege talents will then become shifter talents. Anything non-siege related would remain the same. Obviously, if you're using a commander with museum relics, that like I'll take YSG for example, he has a archer defense bonus of 20% when you've upgraded to 2 relics with this museum piece here. So that archer defense bonus would then convert into the shifter defense bonus, which again could be really, really nice if these shifters are really strong. One thing you'll have to remember in the section where it says, in addition, melee damage bonuses will be converted into ranged damage bonuses. Now, if you're not in ranged mode, ranged damage bonuses won't really take effect. They won't count. They won't work. But obviously, we need to look a bit further into this update because there are things that are different here. And this leads us on to skirmisher troops, a new type of troop that can launch ranged attacks without switching to ranged mode, but takes increased damage. So they also deal bonus damage when there are no enemy governor troops within a certain range. Only revamped commanders or those with the engineering talent can use their active skills when leading skirmisher troops. So with this troop type, you don't need to set up a tower. You don't have to waste that silly little bit of time messing around. A little bit like COD, where they have the ranged mages and archers. They can just literally attack another troop. They don't have to change into anything. They can just fire. But again, they will take increased damage. But there's got to be some sort of debuff on your troop here because it's just going to be totally OP. Now here where it says they deal bonus damage when there are no enemy governor's troops within a certain range. That must be if there are no troops like at a closer distance, your further distance will then cause more damage, your all damage. Now that means you may have actual 2 rings appear on your troops. Let's make a bit of an example here. So here's Margaret going to attack a Bob. I've added an extra ring. So I think anyone inside this inner ring, if anyone is in that inner ring, you will then do less damage to the troops in the whole ring area. But if no one's in that middle center ring, then I feel like between the inner ring and the outer ring, you're going to do more damage to those troops. So you'd be better to stay a little bit further back potentially and fire at troops on the edge of your ring, which could work out quite well, but people will want to rush you more. They will want to just attack you and take you down. I hope they will actually show like 2 rings and you can see if enemy troops are in that inner ring to know whether you are doing bonus damage to the other troops you're firing at. But again, we won't know that until I've been on some sort of test server or whoever else has been on a test server also. Now, it does say here, only revamped commanders or those with the engineering talent can use their active skills when leading artillery troops. Now, this gives me an inkling that you won't be able to revamp all your troops, or you won't be able to revamp all 5 or 6 marches. You may only be able to do like 1 or 2. But if they are already an engineering commander, then potentially they can just do this anyway. I'm not sure if you actually have to revamp engineering commanders so they can lead these sort of troops. Or I guess maybe you don't even have to, because if you've got good enough engineering commanders, you can just do what you're doing now and still get great kills and stuff. But obviously, the trouble with range commanders, they do lose half their active skill bonuses if they're not fine within melee range. But then a lot of these commanders, it doesn't say anything about their active skill will be halved, the direct damage factor or the smite damage factor. So that again, I'm not 100% sure about, but would that make these other units better than the engineering commanders we've got already? One great thing I can see here is that if you do revamp your engineering commanders like Margaret, imagine pairing them with someone like Liu Che, who has massive bonuses with normal damage factors. I mean, Margaret has that 50% normal damage bonus. Obviously, that's going to have a huge impact on commanders like, again, Luce, Gorgo, or anyone else that has huge bonuses from normal damage. Could be something really special that you could come up with in this KVK. Now let's take a look at artillery troops, a new type of troop that can launch high damage ranged attacks. It has much longer range than a traditional ranged troops, but a limited firing angle. Only revamped commanders or those with the engineering talent can use their active skills when leading artillery troops. So these troops sound really interesting. Obviously, they do high damage at a longer range than obviously your traditional range troop, like your engineering commanders, but a limited firing angle. Now, I presume the limited firing angle is something like a cone shaped. So you may have to actually set these up in a direction. Now, you will have to set these ones up as well, I presume. They can't just fire without having to produce a tower. But yeah, you may have a cone or a half circle range. Anything that comes behind you, you can't hit. But again, if someone does come behind you or you're getting flanked, you just have to take it down and reposition. But this sounds really cool, to be fair. Being able to find like fire at a really a much longer range is really interesting to me. And obviously, again, only revamped commanders or those with the engineering talent can use their active skills when leading artillery troops. That's fine. Next, we have revamp coins. You will need to spend revamp coins each time you revamp a commander. You will automatically gain revamp coins every hour. Got no idea how many you'll earn, but yeah, you can also earn them by completing Bastion quests, just like a lot of your normal KVKs, your heroic anthem. You do your Bastion quests. We don't know if we get support skills in this one. No idea yet. Again, we'll just have to see. That's all pretty self-explanatory. So you'll collect these coins, which a certain amount of coins will required for revamping commander. Whether it's a different amount per different commander, I don't know. Again, I'll just have to wait and see. Number 7, Alliance Arrow Towers. Crusader flags can be transformed into Alliance Arrow Towers, something I've spoken about, which will attack nearby non-friendly cities. Their attacks will reduce a target city wall durability, but will not deal damage to units garrisoned in the city. Okay, that's fine. I would have loved to see something where, yeah, Crusader flag, where your engineering commanders could garrison and just engineering commanders. If it was in a tower mode, um, they do hit troops, but it's obviously severely debuffed. You want anything ridiculous, so the troops don't take deads either. Not attack cities would have been cool, but maybe that's something we see in the future. But this is quite useful. Alliance arrow towers are quite nice. They keep those annoying cities away from a certain area where maybe you're struggling for a bit of ground coverage. You know, it's a bit of a quiet time, and you just don't want to make it too easy for the enemy to basically take down your Crusader flag. So all in all, I think this is a really, really interesting KVK, and I hope plenty of people go for it. Give it a go. Sounds a lot of fun, and who knows what could happen, and who knows what you could come up with to make it work, basically. But yeah, sounds good to me. Let me know what you think. I always enjoy getting loads of comments in the comment section, replying to you guys. Keep them coming in. It's great to know what you guys think. Now, don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. Some of you may not even realize you're not subscribed to the Great Mr. Siege. Come on. And please throw a like on the video. It really helps get these videos out to the rock community. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you on the next one.